Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Um, Giving everybody a shout out. I want to talk about the Proud Boys leader, Joe Biggs, sentenced to 17 years for his participation in the riot. And this is where Donald Trump sent everybody that was at his rally in DC to the Capitol when they destroyed the Capitol. I think it was like uh, billions, maybe even $1 billion to repair what the damage that was done to the Capitol. But like I do before, I want to start out and uh, play a video. And I tried to play it before and it didn't come in, but we're going to see what happens now. Let's see if we can get it to play. Okay.
Former leader of the far-right extremist group, the Proud Boys, sentenced to 7 years in prison for his act January 6th. Joseph Biggs, a military veteran, tearful today, pleading for leniency before receiving one of the longest sentences so far. Here's ABC's Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, despite tearful pleas in court, former Proud Boys Lieutenant Joseph Biggs now sentenced to 17 years for what the judge called his role in a national disgrace, the second longest sentence imposed in the more than 1,100 criminal cases resulting from the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Biggs, an Army veteran, was convicted of seditious conspiracy for plotting the riot, with January 6th was shown during his trial, as well as this selfie from inside the Senate chamber. Prosecutors said Biggs had been an influential proponent of the group's shift towards political violence after Donald Trump lost the election. Ultimately, prosecutors argued he was party to the first breach of the Capitol's perimeter, and even after the attack, declared it a warning shot to the government. The judge saying what happened on January broke our tradition of peacefully sharing power, which is among the most they had as Americans. Another former Proud Boys member, 30-year-old Zach Real, was sentenced today to 15 years in prison for his role in the Capitol riot. He told the court he had lost track of what mattered most and had let politics consume his life. The former head of sentence next, Gary.
Okay. So that's it. The Proud Boys. So let's talk a little bit about the Proud Boys. Joseph Biggs, 17 years. My point is, was it worth it? I mean, you're giving up 17 years of your life for a president uh, uh, that did not offer you any help to get out of the trouble that you was in. You have probably paid X amount of dollars. Who could ever say what you paid for an attorney? And they couldn't help you on this because not only was you there, but you there speaking. They got you. You're showing yourself proudly. I'm proud to break into this Capitol and to help destroy it. So what they charged him with, it's for, y'all know it's for the main Proud Boys that are leaders. The judge called them terrorists. So my question to y'all is, do you think they are terrorists? The Proud Boys is an organization. and they want to call it a far right group, a terrorist organization. That's what they're saying the Proud Boys are. One of the Proud Boys told the judge that he was not a terrorist, uh, but the judge labeled him as a terrorist. A terrorist is the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against citizens, in the pursuit of political aim. That's the definition of a terrorist. And the judge imposed him them 17 years. That's one of the longest punishment imposed on a participant in the riot. The judge name was Judge Timothy Kelly. He was not playing. He just was not playing. He said that day broke our tradition of peaceful transfer of power. And we have never seen anything like that when people are trying to, a president, normally, if they say you win, we may not like the outcome of who won the president, but we can't go and destroy the Capitol. They called this uh, seductionist conspiracy, and that is a crime in various jurisdictions, and is seen as actions against authority. It's been described as serious but a lesser counterpart to treason, targeting actives that undermine the state without direct attacking it. And so that's the way they felt about the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys organization, because some of them stayed in DC. And no, some of them stayed in Florida, excuse me. And so every time Donald Trump done a rally, they were there. And you could hear him on many occasions calling out the Proud Boys to stand up, you know. And all of them rallied behind Donald Trump. But what do you do when you get in trouble? You know, Donald Trump is not there to get nobody out of trouble. The seduction conspiracy, it causes people to rebel against the authority. You know, and 5 people, they were going against police officers. Several people lost their lives. I think one police officer committed suicide. And Donald Trump sat back and watched it on TV and wouldn't do anything. He even was telling them to kill Mike Pierce. And I was like, this is ridiculous. You wanted to harm your own vice president because he wouldn't put you in power to win the presidency. Okay, so there are a number of this is another one of the Proud Boys. And his name is, wait a minute, let me see what his name is. I seen a lot of him on the news throughout the presidency. Seen him several times. His name is, he is a Henry. His name is Henry Terrose Eric. He's one of the Proud Boys members. I think he is the chairman of the Proud Boys. And if I'm not mistaken, he got 18 years. I don't know if he got 17 or 18 years. So they were not playing. The judge was passing down sentences to these the Proud Boys. They said, I think they said it was 4 of them. And this was them at the riot marching down Washington, D.C. January the 6th Capitol. And that's them at the Capitol. Donald Trump told everybody to meet at the Capitol, and that's what they did. There was a whole lot of them at the Capitol. Wanted to take back the power because they felt like Donald Trump should have still been president and not Joe Biden. What I will say is that in my lifetime, I have never in my life seen nothing like this. That somebody fighting to stay in leadership, that you would go to the extent to destroy the Capitol, causing people lives. You didn't care what happened. All you could think about was, I want power. But I have never in my life, as many times that we've switched presidents from Republican to Democrat, Democrat to Republican presidents, we've never seen anybody that refused to transfer power. And that's what happened. Donald Trump refused to transfer power, and the Proud Boys were people that would help Donald Trump go out here and intimidate citizens. They wanted to intimidate the Democrats because they wanted Donald Trump to still be president. And they didn't care who got hurt. This guy over here with all the black on, let me see, he's another member of the Proud Boys. And that was Joseph Biggs on the left and Ethan Nordane. He's on the right. And they walking together, ready to take over the Capitol, harm whoever's in the way that would not make Donald Trump president. There he is again. The Oath Keeper, he is the founder of the Proud Boys. He was sentenced to 18 years for seduction conspiracy on January the 6th, refusing to give power, to turn it back over to they did not want Joe Biden to be president. And whoever was in the way of making him president, they didn't care about the election. And I think that's a lot of what's going on now. And they're trying to have a trial for Donald Trump and other people that did conspiracy to try not to turn over the election to Joe Biden. So this is like one part, but then you got other parts because there's another one that's going on now. I think this is Donald Trump fourth time, and I think it's like 18 of them that they're going against in Atlanta because they were saying that people that it was dead people voting, it was um, a lot of stuff, and all of it was made up lies. None of that really took place. It was the fact that Donald Trump wanted to remain in power, and he was doing everything in his power to remain in power. And I think they were saying it was 1,700 and something votes that Donald Trump needed to be. That's what he needed to be president, and he was telling them to find him them 17 whatever it was votes. He was short, and he wanted them to find them votes so that he could be president. And that's going on now. I want to wait and see how that plays out because it's ridiculous. But he is the main. He is the Oath Keeper founder. This is Stewart Road. So they got sentenced a lot for conspiracy, and they it's so funny because is it worth your life 17, 18 years that I'm fighting with you like I'm out here on the war field? We all want the people we want to win, but at what extent do you go? When does it say we gotta stop? Gotta stop. This is Ethan. Here he is. They tough, but they were leaders of the Proud Boys. They were determined whatever Trump needed, that's what they were gonna do to keep Trump in power. But is it worth it when it costs you your life? Because now you're serving 18 and years in prison, and you're begging for leniency. But because now it's like I gotta go to prison for me helping the president, and the president, the ex-president, can't even help y'all. So was it worth it? In my opinion, no, it's not worth it. These is they were all of them here hanging out. Everybody's hanging out at the riot, protesting. So the judge called them a terrorist. And to me, a terrorist is unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against citizens, in the pursuit of politics aim. So basically, this is violence, it's intimidation. I call it bullying as well. I did several series on bullying. You want to take over the power, and these people was not playing. If you see some of the videos, and I'm quite sure I've played some, but they were not playing. They were determined. They didn't care who lost their lives. They wanted Donald Trump to be president. And he sent all these people down there. But the Proud Boys was recruiting people to come. So to me, if you went to DC, you was ready to go and fight. So when you're ready to go and fight, you can't come back and say, well, I didn't know I went too far. I didn't mean to go that far. But we have never seen the disruption of a peaceful transfer in America. Presidential power. We've never seen that. Or at least I have never seen that in my lifetime. That people are rallying around and organizing groups. Some of them got 15 years. Some of them got 18, 17 years. But one of the Proud Boys, 39, I think we can go back. He burnt down the Black Lives Matter, and he wasn't even supposed to be in DC. Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to be in DC. He done burnt down the flag at the church. And that was in December. He burnt down a Black Lives Matter flag torn down from a DC church. And he was banned from coming back to DC. But he came back again on January the 6th. So even him being banned from being in DC, he was still determined. When Donald Trump stand down, and he was telling people to stand down, and a lot of people came thinking it was a rally, but a lot of them knew it wasn't. It was going to be a fight. I think when they seen one going at it, a lot of other people start fighting in the riot because your adrenaline is high and you see people doing stuff. And a lot of people has gotten time, probably lost their jobs and everything behind fighting with Donald Trump so that he could win the presidency. But I guess everybody's got different sentences. They got the longest sentence. Or at least that's what the judge say. They got the longest sentence than most people got for being at that ride and fight. And so what are y'all thoughts about that? Yeah, that's what I would like to see. What do y'all think about? Do you think that it was worth it or what they were doing to win the presidency? Do you think it's worth it to be out here fighting regardless of who wins, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican? When you are facing time, and I seen so many people, and you cut on the news today, that are Republicans that are caught up in so much listening to Donald Trump. And then when you get in trouble, he don't have any money to help you get out of trouble. You know, it's like people are so drawn to him that whatever he say do, you go out here and do it, and then you feel guilty and you want to feel I'm sorry because you have went out here and did this for somebody, and then they can't get you out of trouble. But you're not looking either to get 17 and 18 years behind bars. That's a long time. You know, just imagine how old you're going to be by the time you get out of prison. Because I'm fighting for this man to stay in office. We went through 2 presidents by the time you get out. but the judge felt like they were terrorists. You didn't care who you hurt or harm. You was determined to put Donald Trump back in the power. And now Donald Trump, he doing the same thing, because you got to keep going through trials, different trials, and it's costing. Them attorneys can charge you whatever you got. So it's something to think about. I'm quite sure they're trying to make all of them broke. Even Giuliani, I thought he was Donald Trump attorney. Now he's out here, I heard, begging for money. I call it begging for money. If you're putting up, asking people for money, to donate money to help you get a lawyer, because them lawyers are very expensive. I say none of it is worth you giving up your life. And just think, if you got a family and you're leaving your family because you got to go serve time because I got caught up in something I should have never got caught up in. We all want whoever we voting for to win, but if they don't win, then it's learning how to control yourself so you won't go out here and get in any type of trouble. And you end up in prison, and whoever you fighting for, he don't know y'all. I'm not gonna be out here fighting for nobody, Joe Biden or Trump, because they don't know me. They don't have any money to send me to get out of that trouble that I got in because I want this particular one to win. We just can't do it. It's something to think about. And we may not like the next opponent, but we can't go out here destroying buildings and fighting our way through. And I've never seen anything like this in my life. You even telling people to kill the vice president because he didn't make you president, and you told him to do something that he didn't have authority to do. And so now you wanted him dead. And they was talking about hang Mike Pence. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's like people was in a trance, not realizing that they had to come back and pay for everything, their actions. You got to pay for your actions. Wherein it's an action, there's a reaction. And then you got to go back and say, was it worth it? Because now I'm giving up a part of my life sitting behind bars for somebody who can't even come and get me out of trouble. They ain't got no money to put on your books. And now you sitting in jail for 17 years, some of them 18. That's a long time. If you got any kids, they be grown by then. You're not there to see them grow up. Because I'm fighting for what I think is right. But sometimes it's okay to fight for what we think is right, but you can't go to the extreme of where you take people's lives. I think somebody, the way they did the U.S. Capitol, that was something I've never seen in my life. They were actually fighting police officers. You would think they was on the war field. And I'm like, wow, this is really bad. And all Donald Trump did was sit back and watch all y'all get in trouble because a lot of your pictures showed up on camera, and a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had to spend out a whole lot of money trying to get out of trouble, not realizing while they're out there that they're going to come back and prosecute them for what they did. And then they say, well, I'm sorry. And a lot of them blamed it on Donald Trump. I'm like, well, a lot of people went and blamed it on him, but he don't have any money to help you get out of trouble. And so then you're stuck pulling time. So my thing is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. Don't do it. It's not worth giving up 17 years of your life. Um, and he still did not make president. So it's something to think about. I've gave 17 years of my life and I got to go and sit behind bars. And this man didn't put any money on my books, don't even really know who I am. At this point in time, he really don't care because he's trying to keep himself from going to prison. And so what's going to happen? Everybody going to be sitting behind bars? Everybody going to be in jail for trying to to be the president so Donald Trump could be president? Are you serious? No, it's not worth it. And I think every citizen need to realize that what you set out to do did not happen. And then you're faced with the consequence of I've got to go to prison for this man. And he still didn't make president. But now you're sitting behind bars. And if you've got children or wives or whatever, I mean, this could be a triggering effect because you're going to probably end up divorced. I'm not waiting on nobody for no 17 years to get out of jail. And I don't know where you establish at home, but it's a lot to think about. If you got houses and cars or family, you know what I'm saying? Your whole life is gone, at least for the next 17 years. And then they probably make you get out and pay restitution. Then what you going to do then? I don't think it's worth it. Just because I want you to be president again. We all got candidates that we care about, but don't care so much that you're going to go out here and get in trouble because they didn't win the presidency or they didn't win a political seat in office. It could be anything. It's not worth going out here facing time for. And so I'm going to leave it right there. I do admire your, I would like to know what everybody's got to say. What are your opinions? What do you think? Do you think they're terrorists? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? So leave your comments, like and subscribe. If you like what I'm talking about, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. And I would definitely like to hear your opinion. Okay, let's see.